A life-altering injury can happen when you least expect it, and if that injury happens to be a concussion, the road to recovery can be challenging. Our next guest knows this reality well and wrote the book, Where Did I Go?, to help others better understand the realities of living with post-concussion syndrome and share stories of hope and resilience. We're very pleased to welcome author and educator Fran Gillis to our show this morning. Good morning, Francine.
Good morning, Crystal. Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. I know that your story is going to help others watching today. Now, you slipped on black ice back in 2015 on the way into work. How did that moment change the trajectory of your life?
It changed it dramatically, Crystal, because I was a passionate teacher and I loved being in the classroom, and suddenly I wasn't able to do what I normally was able to do. I was disabled. I thought I'd get back to work. I didn't know where to go for help. I had to start searching, and it evolved into weeks, months, and years of therapies, of trying to get better to get back into my classroom. And it was a very frustrating, challenging time because I didn't know where to go. And when I did start talking to my therapist as a former teacher and writer, I started asking all kinds of questions, and I learned so very, very much that I said, this will help somebody else. And I just was doing it for some friends and such. And then I discovered that I was actually going back and using the strategies and the tips and the resources to help myself. And after 8 to 9 years, I am much better than I was. I can't say I'm fully recovered. I still stutter a little bit, and I still have multisensory overload. I fell into the world of concussions, and I thought I knew a little bit about them, but we are not aware of the ramifications and the side effects that occur for people and how much people suffer with invisible injuries, because concussion is a mild traumatic brain injury, and there is so many after effects. There's mental struggles and so on.
Well, Francine, your book tells your story, and if anyone is struggling with post-concussion syndrome, this is a great guide, because it would help you or your loved ones understand what you're going through, because you've done so much research. But your book also tells your story and the stories of 7 others, and ultimately they've all had worked through a struggle, but you wanted to share their stories of hope and encouragement. Why was it so important that this book ultimately is to help give people hope and encouragement?
Because it's an invisible injury, and we suffer alone. And so the encouragement comes in the resilience and the strength and the remarkable people who agreed to share very, very personal stories of being in a car accident, of almost being paralyzed, of grief, losing someone very dear and near and dear to you. It's a voice that needs to be heard. And we need to educate and make people aware of the ramifications that happen when the senses are on overload and are turned up, and we can't filter like normal people and make sense of the world. So people need to understand this, and they need to understand what can happen in a split second, and they need to know where they can go for encouragement and help and the proper treatment. If you don't get the proper treatment right away, Crystal, the recovery chances are lessened. And it was at least 4 months before I started with one therapist, and then it was on and on and on for at least 3 to 4 years. I was going to therapists 3 times a week, and I didn't know where to go in the beginning. And so people with this book, they know where to go. It answers their questions. It tells them how to deal with loved ones who might have emotional irregularities. It tells them what they might do if someone is mentally struggling. Well, who to contact, where to contact. The back of the book has resources of people who have evidence-based research and treatment from the last 10 years. Well, and so it's very, very crucial.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. That's the time we have, Francine. It's been a joy to chat with you this morning. I know that your book is already helping so many people, and by you sharing your story and the hard work you've done to create this book with our viewers today is going to help more. And I know you can get this book wherever books are sold, and through your website you can even get an autographed copy. So, Francine, thank you so much for your time today.
You're more than welcome, Crystal. And that small I references a loss of identity. You can get your identity back.
Well, that is going to provide hope for people. We put your information on our website, too, to make it easy for people to find. We'll take a break and be back in 2 minutes' time.